Ten to get back.
No need for us to say go.
That's so funny.
I didn't hear you.
Here's the great news. Here's the great news. Like, one person.
Yeah, you're good. I was just doing
a
a
screenshot on Twitter.
Yeah.
Look down, my phone's ringing last night. I get home, my phone's ringing. JP, he's like, yeah? I'm like, FaceTime. I'm like, hey, sorry. Trying to get concert tickets. I wanted concert tickets or something. So.
Coach, go ahead.
Obviously, pleased with the win on Saturday. Excited to get moving forward. Excited to go on the road. Maryland will present quite a challenge. Fantastic defense, leading the country and at the tops of the country in terms of yards allowed, third down, great pass rush, great rushers, dynamic wideout core. So it'll be a great opportunity for us to go out and play a really good football team and get on the road and. Kind of really didn't do that. I mean, we did it at Kansas City, but not truly, get on a plane and go somewhere across the country. So look forward as a chance for our team to grow and build a sense of brotherhood even more. So we're excited about it. So I'll take your questions.
Already seeing in the Big Ten games this year that the travel can have an effect if it's the travel, but road teams that go a long way are not having great success, like similar to last year. What with that in mind have you guys done in this program to minimize the impact of going halfway across the country?
Sorry. Well, I think first, it's one of the great things about being in Nebraska. We're essentially located, so we're not on these 6-hour flights. I think about some of these guys going West Coast to East Coast. I mean, how hard that is. Even in the NFL, you probably only do it once a year. You go from the East Coast to the West Coast or vice versa. So, we study everyone. We reach out to everyone after they do it. If they play, hey, what'd you do? It's great collegiality amongst the league because I think we all have to deal with it. But I think the number one thing is we don't complain about it. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. This is, anytime you go play a game, there's several opponents in the game, and one of them is just the conditions, the travel, all that stuff. So it's just part of it. We've had a year to prepare for it. We know what to expect. We were glad it's not a night game because we come back and play on Friday night. We were hoping for an 11 o'clock game, but 3 o'clock will take. And the only difference being, Mitch, that we're going to go out Thursday because, when you arrive there, you fly into BWI. You got to drive about an hour to Bethesda to get to the airport. And so, we know Washington didn't get in until about 1 o'clock in the morning Thursday night. So we're not a big Thursday operation. We like to go on Fridays and keep our routine. But this is one time and the only time this year that we'll go out on Thursday just because of the nature of being on the East Coast and traveling in those areas. So we'll take advantage of Friday as a day to, like I said, when I talk about the brotherhood of the team, just spend some time together and take the day to build, lock in and get focused for the game. But I think that's one change that we've made. But when we go to the West Coast, we don't really do that. But again, we aren't having the same travel that maybe. I think back to my first year here, right? We flew to Illinois, we flew to Minnesota, we flew to Colorado, and we flew. Who else did we play in Wisconsin? Right? They were all a small plane, 90-minute rides, right? And now it's a little different, but it's good. We're excited about it.
Will you guys practice out there like high school or somewhere?
Yeah, we're gonna go. We'll walk. We practice on Thursdays and we walk through on Fridays. So we will walk through on Friday at a local high school.
You said you wanted to watch, before you commented on the offensive line against Michigan State, you wanted to watch the film. What did you see?
I saw a lot of good things, and I saw some other things that have to be improved. Some of the sacks are on them, some of the sacks are on other people. So I think it's just I think right now Emmett Johnson is third in the league in rushing. Right, so the narrative that's out there that we can't run the football is kind of silly, right? We're just, college football, you take away sacks. Are we giving up too many sacks? Yes. On one of them, that's what I love about Dylan Rhule. He stands up on the one. I don't know if you guys, anyway, he went, that's on me. He was holding the ball, right? A third down sack doesn't really bother me as much as a first and second down sack. And because, if you just hurry up and get the ball in your hand and don't get the first down anyway, you're punting the ball. Now, we don't want sack fumbles. So there was just some times there, as we all saw, that things kind of got a little out of whack and out of kilter, and we have to be better. But I don't think it's like this. Oh my gosh, we can't block anybody. We had 9 plays, I think 38 yards in the first quarter. We had a horrific second quarter, unlike anything I've ever been a part of. All right, so let's call it what it was. But we had a 104-yard third quarter. We had a 103-yard fourth quarter. So it's on pace to be about a 420-yard day. You know what I'm saying? It's just we just didn't play well there for a while. What I was happy about was that the guys just kept playing. They didn't panic. I mean, we have the ball in the red zone, and if you guys go back and watch the all 22, Dane Key runs an over route. He's wide open. It's a walk-in touchdown, and they blitz the safety and. Not that we can't block him, just the left tackle just busts, doesn't block him, right? It's just a mental error. So we fixed the mental error. We keep coaching, right? It's kind of what we've been talking about all year, just trying to improve what we're doing. Some of them, the quarterback's trying to hold on, trying to make a play. And if you want to live with the great plays, you have to live with some of those plays too. So we'll keep getting better. But the narrative like, hey, we can't block anybody, I mean, we got to block better. But we're blocking people we just got to be more consistent.
Do you feel like there's an opportunity for Dylan to just kind of let it rip a little bit more and just trust his arm to put it into a tight space? Maybe.
No, I don't think that. I don't think so. I think Dylan's playing really well. I think maybe some of the rush got to him at times a little bit last game. He's kind of started like maybe moving around a little bit like this, and I think he settled down. To quote him, I thought in the third and fourth quarter he had blood in his eyes. After he threw that pick, he was angry, and he went out there and made the play he made on the play to Jacory. Not many guys are gonna make that. Jacory's supposed to run a 5-step out. Jacory just figured it out because the guy undercut it. He just figured it out and turned up. Dylan stepped up inside, so. I think Dylan's the least of our worries right now.
At running back, Isaiah Mosey got some opportunities there on Saturday. Was that the plan to give him some more touches?
Yeah. Well, Isaiah, I want Isaiah's. I mean, I was anticipating a 70, 75 play game, not a 52 play game. So I was anticipating a little more rhythm. So I'd like to have gotten him, 10 touches or so. But he got four. Plus he's the kick returner. So you're seeing some of the young players for us. It's hard sometimes for coaches, like you see their talent, but you don't know what they're going to be like in games. As they play in games, you start to see them. So you see the confidence the staff has in Cortez Mills, right? He gets out there every game, just catches a ball and makes a play. Isaiah, Dawson Merritt, he started the game and his reps are going up and up and up. So I think you see the confidence that the staff has in those young guys and just trying to find the right roles for them, while at the same time you got a guy like Emmett who's I think 17th in the country right now in yards from scrimmage. So we don't want to take him off the field too much. But, we want to get Isaiah involved. And Mekhi Nelson gets out there. He has a 12-yard run right off the bat. So we're happy with that room. It's just, Emmett is playing really well too. And so just trying to find that balance. Like I said, we'd love to have a 70, 75 play game so we can get more guys involved.
Your initial scouting in Maryland, what do you guys see that makes them effective?
Good players. I mean, they got a dynamic young quarterback, 5-star recruit who's athletic, but who is a passer. When you have that combination of you're a passer first and you look to throw, but you're also athletic, it extends plays. They hit a lot of deep balls. Their wideouts, 1, 4, and 5 can run. 5 can really run. So they're explosive. That it's the passing game for them that's really opened up, and they can run the football too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just there are some challenges there. We're a pretty good pass defense, so it should be a good matchup. And then you flip it, they have a bunch of high effort rushers that are relentless, and so their pass rush is pretty elite, which is why they're so good on third down. And we just talked about our ability to create and build and defend a great pocket. So that'll be a key matchup there. And then special teams, we've blocked 3 kicks this year. Jameer Khan has, I think he has a block and a tipped. So that's 2 blocks for him, I guess. Every week I go into Eck, I'm like, hey, I want to block a punt. I want to block punts. We're doing a great job of returning them, but, trying to find design ways to block punts. They do a great job special teams wise, but Eck will always find a way. And Jameer, when you have 2 block punts in your first 5 games at this level, was it 5 games, right? That's pretty impressive. And so we'll continue to try to find ways to get Jameer open. Jacory's doing a good job returning. So, just continue to build off what we're doing special teams wise, which will be a key factor in a game like this.
Coach, when you go back and look at last week, why weren't you getting the ball downfield as much as you normally do? I mean, I think the average depth of the throw was 3.1 yards for all your attempts in the game. The game before was 8 or 9 yards. I mean, was there something with the wind, or was it the pressures, the looks that was kind of preventing the ball from getting downfield?
Yeah, I would say the wind was obviously a factor. I think you look at them, I think they threw for, there was at one point in the second half where both teams had under, 85 yards. So, I'm not here to sit here and be like, we can't sit here and say, well, the wind was there, so we didn't throw. But I just think it was kind of one of those deals where it was like, that I think we called some of those, and we had some guys wide open, like the play I'm talking about the Dane, and we just had a protection bust. And then just kind of, I think as games get like that, and you're just Dana was just trying to find rhythm. He's like, hey, let's get the ball in rhythm. Let's get, like, even on the play to Ja'Cory, like if you go, I showed the team the 3-play sequence of we throw a tunnel screen to Ja'Cory and he drops it. Ja'Cory Barney doesn't drop many balls, and it looks like it's going to be a decent play. We come out on a naked and Dane's open. We throw it to Dane and we kind of guys in Dylan's face and overthrown it. It's just like it just feels so out of whack. Then we come out and we throw a double post rail route wheel with Emmett in the flat, 4x1. Lindemeyer has to block the end. The end gets outside and he kicks him out. Dylan goes up inside. Corey figures it out. He throws the ball down the field on that play. And it's an explosive play. And so then all of a sudden we're going, right? So I just think it was one of those games where you're just trying to find rhythm and, is there a place to probably push the ball over the top of their heads maybe more often? Yeah, if people are going to allow us to do that. We called on one of the sacks, the one Dylan got, we called a double move to Ja'Cory, and they rolled over the top of him. And so the pick is a go and a post over route. Just, he had to get backside of the end cut. So what we don't want to do is we want to push the ball down the field. We want to do all those things. But we don't want to. It's kind of hard. Like, hey, Matt, why don't we run the ball more? Why don't we throw the ball deep more? Just trying to score more points than the other team, So I just think Dana's elite at like, hey, what's working today? What are we going to do? And let's just get the ball and play as much as possible when the chances are there. Let's take some shots over their head. But to not acknowledge the wind. Like literally on defense, like when they went into the wind, we were literally playing back shoulder man, like just let them throw the ball over the top. And if you flip it, when they went this way, they kept overthrowing all the go balls because all they were doing in man was trying to throw the ball over our heads. I have to say this, and it's not related to your question, but Sierra Wright was absolutely phenomenal. He got targeted 5 times, and he just absolutely was a shutdown nickel corner in the game. But, it's kind of like Rutgers last year. It was just really, really a hard day for the passing game. But I think, we try to find some screens. So I don't know if that answers your question, and I respect the question. I think we're always trying to find that. I do think people come out and play us one of two ways, like, hey, let's play quarters and let's kind of stay deep and force them to run it and force them to get the ball and play, in which case you need to make some plays. Or they play us in man and pressure us, in which case it's hard to hold the ball long enough to push the ball down the field. And so we continue to evolve and see if we can get better.
The screen that went for the touchdown to Hunter, what did you see? What kind of a job did your O-line do on that to get out and help spring that?
It was elite. Justin Evans comes out and has one of those blocks I think a lineman dream of, even on the backside, Gunnar Gatula, he just does his job. He goes inside because, we're showing power, goes inside and steals the mic and blocks him for 6 seconds. On the far sideline, Dane Key blocks the far corner for like 7-8 seconds. And so it was an unbelievable play by Isaiah. Lindemeyer at the point of attack makes a great block. Justin comes down the line, makes a great block. Everyone's on their guys. So Isaiah makes a great play. And I think he'll be the first to tell you the other 10 guys, though, did an unbelievable job. And we ran that play earlier, kind of as we talked about trying to get the ball in play and get some momentum started. I think he got like 11, 12 yards. So, this was just another play like, hey, let's go get 4, 5, 6 yards, get some rhythm, and guys make a couple blocks, and he makes an athletic play, and it's gone.
I don't want to force anything, but do you feel like that D-line took a step forward in this game?
Yeah, that's not forcing it. Just the negative, the negative things can't be like this, and then the positive things are like, well, I don't. It's okay to say something positive. They'll still subscribe and listen. I promise, guys. It's okay to be positive too. All right, I'm just teasing. I love you. No, but I agree with you completely. Like I thought it was like, and again, I think I said earlier in the year, like as the season goes on, they will, like. You can practice and practice and practice, but until you play in some games, you start seeing like, man, I can't get off a block. Then all of a sudden you start seeing like, you start walking out. I go out at night, every night, like 6 o'clock, and I sit out on the balcony because there's not a balcony by my office. The assistant coaches all have balconies. So I go sit outside their offices and just kind of hold court for a little bit. And you look out there, there's usually someone out there working, doing some extra work, And so when they start getting into games, they start saying, hey, I need to do this. But, we stop the run. Right, so that's a positive storyline, right? This is a running football team, and we stopped the run and turned it into a drop back game. Now, credit to Childs, like to 2 short fields, man, he made some plays running around that bother you. But on the one sack, like the effort that Waneri had, like he spun around 3 times to get the guy. Elijah Judy just keeps getting better in practice and pass rushing. So Yeah, I thought they made a real step and stopped the run and then turned into a passing game. I thought Waneri was like special in the game. I thought McCullough was special in the game. I thought, the inside guys. Then we got some like David Huffkin gets in the game for the first time ever. He's playing well. So I think Terry and Phil Simpson are doing a good job with those guys.
We've asked you about Williams before, just when you kind of saw that jump, but I mean, how has he met and even exceeded expectations you guys maybe had for him?
I think one of the biggest things for me with him was like to get rid of the expectations. Like, when it's like I've experienced it in the NFL. When you're a first round draft pick, you're always measuring yourself against like your draft status and your compensation. When you're a 5-star plus, you're like, just go be a football player. Just go be a freshman. Go be a sophomore. So to that end, in the spring, the only thing I said to him was, I have one word for you: motor. Like motor. Like we timed him, and he runs fast. But when I turn the tape on, I should see that speed, and now you're seeing it. And I think it's just from practice. Like no, the players probably don't even want to hear it, but just if you practice well long enough, eventually it starts to translate, turn over, right? Like Deshaun Singleton had 2 interceptions in the game. Those are he's in his 5th or 6th year of college football. I don't really know what year. And that's his 3rd interception. Like Judy is a 5th-year senior. He had his first sack, I think, right? So it's like you just keep doing things and eventually something good will happen. So just trusting the path that you're on. Instead of all the freshmen and like, the freshmen are panicked and like their parents are panicked, like just do the good right stuff long enough. And I think that's a great example. Williams is a great example. Like, hey man, don't worry about your ranking. Don't worry about anything. Just become a good player. And I think he's just taking leaps. We put him in a black shirt last week because he's just playing so much. And we're playing some different packages. Like when they go big, we're playing some 4-3. When they go to 11 and we think it's a run, he's playing some 4-3 stuff. We're playing some 5-down stuff. So. William will definitely deserve that.
You've obviously been high on Rex Guthrie this year, and he got the start. But I don't know if there was an injury or anything with Marquise, but went into that. And how do you see? How did you see? I guess a team captain Marquise just sort of handle not having that same role that he's had.
Yeah, Marquise is like if I had to pick what a captain looks like, it's Marquise Buford, and he's been through a lot of physical adversity in his time here. He just wants to win. And he's got a significant role. He played a ton. He finished the game out for us. Plays in dime. Guthrie's ascending too. So just and like I said, we have so many different packages. Like I said, Dawson went in and started the game because we started and I couldn't tell you how we were going to start. They came out whenever they went out. John said line, which is our 4-3 stuff, and they went 4-3, so he gets the start. So, but yeah, I mean Marquise Buford is exactly why people like me got into college football, for guys who always put the team first and put winning first and nothing else. And so I can't say enough about him.
Do you anticipate Malcolm traveling with you guys this week?
He's closer. I'm hopeful. But this is certainly a game we'd love to have him. We tried to warm him up and see how he was, and he's just not there. So I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you. But we'll get to tomorrow and we'll see where he's at. We had some guys come out of the game banged up, so we'll see who can practice and who can't. But we could certainly use Malcolm. Not that other guys aren't doing well, but I mean, he's got a ton of production for us. And in a game like this, with the speed that they have at wide out, we'd love to have him.
Passing defense is number 1 in the country. Did you guys anticipate this type of play? I mean, where you've held 2 or 3 really good quarterbacks to some of the worst games they've had all year?
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell everyone after the Cincinnati game. When I say everyone, I'm talking about like our team. Like, hey guys, just so you guys know, this guy's a real quarterback. Like, there were 5 scouts. That's the exact story I told you guys. There were 5 scouts at the game that were like, "Oh, he's a pro, Matt." We held him to 64 yards, and everyone was really disappointed after the game. I can't believe it was 2017. To me, it was like, hey, we won a close game. We played a good team. Have you watched them? They're dynamic. Like, what I'm saying. So to your point, I think we're playing good pass defense. I think some of it is, unfortunately, we've let too much run game go. So people are like, hey, let's stick with the run. So this game we stopped the run to a degree to force them to get into those situations. I think Butler is elite. I think Butler is pretty elite. I'm watching what he does, like putting concepts together in terms of coverage, because it's not just like, hey, you cover that, we're not just doing that. I think Addison is doing a great job. I think the players gravitate towards Snow. I think Adam DeMichael does a great job. I think we have like really good coaches, and then like it's Wednesday night at like 8:30, 9 o'clock last week, and maybe it's Thursday night. I'm not usually home Wednesday night by that time. Thursday night? I don't know, whatever. And I get home and I'm watching whatever Julie wants to watch. And it's Thursday night, and I get a text from Sierra, or a phone call from Sierra. The players never call me unless they need something, right? And Sierra's like, hey, can you have them turn the lights on in the stadium? He's got a bunch of guys out there, and they're doing extra. Like, it's just, I think I told you guys after the game, Sierra like got up in front of the team and was like, "Hey, that's not, that's not okay that we gave up that touchdown at the end of the game." Like he was pissed. And so I think it's just the guys that we have back there, Deshaun, Malcolm, unfortunately, he's hurt. Like Sierra was willing to go from corner to nickel. Like he's like fitting the run now. Like that's just not a lot of guys will do that, but Sierra's like that kind of guy. I thought the impact of Marshall in the game, like coming up on those 2 tackles in that one drive and knifing the guy at the 10-yard line. And then the guy, like, wait till Amari Sanders is the starter here. Like it's not like this is like, oh, we got some older guys. Like the young DBs coming up are going to be elite. So I think Addison's done a good job, and I think Butler's really special. I think I remember when Sierra came to me, Sierra was like, "You need to hire Butler." And I was like, "Really? Why?" Not that I've said really like in a bad way, but like why? And he detailed for me the story about Rutgers. He's like, hey, they're gonna run a fake. They called timeout. Rutgers called a timeout, and he said, hey, they're gonna run a fake field goal here. It's super windy. It's a 30, whatever it was. This is the length of the kick. They've already ran one fake last year. They just called timeout. They're gonna run the fake, and they ran the fake. And Sierra was like, I've never had someone who can break the game down for me like that. So I think John's done a great job, and I thought the pass rush showed up this game. The pass rush truly showed up.
The special teams improvement, Matt, is there something beyond Mike Eckler's impact that's allowed those units to play at the level that they are right now?
I think you'd have to start with Mike. I think he's brought like an energy to it, but I don't want to minimize it because I think everyone he might get mad at me for saying that. I think everyone sees like the jumping around in the locker room and all that stuff. That's not what it is. It's his teaching progressions are amazing. His attention to he truly he uses on his interview I had to tell him to stop because he uses the Socratic method where he's consistently asking you questions and making you respond and think, and I was like, heck, I can't do this, bro. It's like an hour of this, please do it, because it was me and Snow interviewing him. But I think it's great because you go to his meetings and everyone's dialed in and everyone's locked in. Here's how I knew it. It was like, I don't think it was Thursday or Friday. Sat was like, man, I can't wait for Jameer. Like they're gonna come out and they're gonna line up like this. And we're gonna check to this, and Jameer's gonna stun the guy. I mean, that's like when your tight ends coach is saying this is what's gonna happen in the game. It's because it's been taught so well. And then I think then the energy and the passion of it, he inspires belief, and he has your back if you do make a mistake. Like we told Jameer, I personally told Jameer, which is not the way I am. And I'm pretty proud of the fact right now that we're 15th in the country in penalties because that's not the way it was the first 2 years. But I said, hey, if you run in the punter, you run the punter. I don't care. Go block the kick. Just wanted to free him up. So I think Eck's teaching progression is elite. I don't want to minimize the impact of Brett Maher because when you have specialists and the specialists have somebody who's done it that they can. The last thing, because for 10 years of my career, it was like me being like, come on, put it through the upright. Like, what do I know about it? It's like me talking about some other golf swing, right? So you got Brett over there, and he's like, even like some of the things Brett taught me this year, like early on, we weren't making like real long kicks. And Brett was like, no, coach, we're being consistent here. Now we'll start to work back. He's just so patient with it. I really blame myself that I probably should have kicked some more kicks in games 2 and 3 before the fourth game. Instead of going for it because I was trying to be respectful of the opponent, but I should have probably kicked a few more. But so anyway, I think it's Eck. I think it's Brett Maher. I think the job that Nick and Josh do to help Eck, and I think our players are super bought into it. Yeah, they love the fact that we're making plays.
You mentioned that Dylan had taken accountability for one of those sacks, and after the game, Carter Nelson apologized for his penalty on the punt return. Is just that accountability aspect? How important is that for just the growth of a program and everything?
Yeah, like my message after the game to the team on Monday was really three things. Number one is what we're doing as a team, as an offense, defense, special teams, is the path that we're on. You get on 80 West, no matter how much you tweet that you want to get to the airport in Omaha, you're never getting there, right? You got to be on the right road. Said, are we doing the right things? If you believe that you're doing the right things and we're doing the right things as a team, then double down on it and keep doing it better. But then number two is truth, right? Like sometimes you get benched. Sometimes coach comes to you and says, hey, you're not playing well enough. But only in truth can you develop. And so that to me is accountability. I was livid about the block in the back call because I thought it was on Wacker. And I'm out there with the refs going like this. And then Carter walked over, he goes, no, that was me, I did it. And I looked at the iPad and I walked over to the official. I said, hey, good call, I apologize. And, I think that's culturally, that goes all the way back though to Giff and Reimer and all those guys, like year one. Like I said, hey guys, when we watch tape, here's how we watch tape. Like you sit there in front of the whole team, you say, I should have been here, I should have been that. I think I talked to you guys last week about one of the runs where Sierra says, I should be in the post here. I was confused. I covered the tight end and the ball hit for a touchdown. So I think when you have guys, you have guys like Sierra, when you have guys like the guys we have, Javen and all those guys, then the younger players see that, and that becomes cultural. So when people use the word culture, I'm always like, I don't know what that means, other than it just kind of becomes cool to take accountability and do things that are hard and do things. So I'm proud of those things. Too bad we had that block in the back because Jacory was on his way to a crazy day. I think, what is it now? 200. We have 250 yards of punt returns, and the other team has -1. So those things, you do them long enough, will affect winning.
The fact that you're near the top of the country in these special teams rankings, turnover margins +6, that's near the top. You mentioned penalties. Where do those fit into what you define as culture?
Well, I appreciate that. I think before you win a game, you can't lose it. Like, don't give the game away. Like, don't beat ourselves, right? Like, and so, I think when you're like to me, there's 3 stages of winning, right? There's eliminating losing football, right? That's the first year we were -16 or whatever we were in turnovers. It's going to be no matter what we wear, no matter what music we listen to before the game, it doesn't matter if you're -16. Then you start playing winning football. Then you start trying to play championship football, and turnover margin, all those things they start to, because it's one thing to not give the ball away, which we're doing a pretty good job, but we're taking the ball away. That's jumping up, which that's about playmakers, and that's about the way you're playing. So I think it's discipline. I think it's when guys all understand, like, hey, before I can make a play, I first have to do my job. But then after I do my job, I have to go make a play. That's the hardest thing in football now. Like Bill Belichick said, do your job. And coaches say, do your job. And then when the game's on the line, they say, no, go make a play. And kids are like, do I do my job or do I make a play? Well, we try to clearly define it as like, hey, do your responsibility and then run over there and hunt and go make a play. And so I think our guys are getting that. It takes a while to get that. But yeah, we're proud of those stats. We're proud of being in the tops in the country at throwing the ball. We're proud of being in the tops in the country at stopping the pass. Some areas we have to improve upon. We know that. But I do think the hidden ones are the penalties, the special teams, the turnover margin. The thing with those things, though, is they don't carry over. And that's the biggest, I would rather be +1 every game in the turnover margin than be +6 on the year. Like, I just want to win it every game because that gives you a chance.
I'm sure there's things that happen in travel. It's never always perfect, but what are the things that you want to be like really right when you talk to your logistics people? Like, this is the thing that I want to make sure is good for our players and for our staff.
Susan, you want to answer that? I am so high maintenance when we travel. I remember Sean Pad and I on a bus in Yukon because Connecticut would not let we took a bus because we wanted another helmet. So I traded off with our AD. I said, okay, I'll bus instead of fly there or take the train there, but can I have that money then to get a helmet for our guys? Because we weren't in Nebraska. We were a place that needed to try to do all that cool stuff. And it was supposed to be a 3-hour bus ride. We were on the bus for 6.5 hours. I mean, I literally was losing it. Me and Sean were screaming at each other. He's like, what are we going to do, move the traffic? So I just like to get there on time. That being said, we also won that game, because the guys were ready to play. And so, I mean, the way we travel here, what's allowed, what we're allowed to do, like, just in terms of the resources we have available to us is elite. I mean, what Kristen does, like, I don't have to even think about the meals. Like, we actually take our own chefs from the training table, and they show up there and, like, they make our omelets for us. They make our, Like, there's nothing showing up and, like, oh, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. Like, we have a couple guys with really restrictive gluten allergies and all that. Like, she goes a day ahead. She makes sure everything's perfect. So I do feel like the food is important, right? Because, I mean, if you get there and all of a sudden you eat something you don't like, but Kristen does such an amazing job with that. We always go see a movie the night before the game, and so we've seen some horrific movies. So I've just given up on that. But no, I think it's that. Like, and I just don't love the long bus ride on the day of the game. But I've also learned that none of that really matters. You know what I mean? Like, you like it to be seamless and clean, but you're going to kick the ball off. It's about who blocks and tackles. So just trying to keep it that. And I think the last thing is just the players, right? The players, they can't. We had to change our hotel in Minnesota because they moved the game from Saturday to Friday. I'm not complaining, but that's a subtle little complaint that they had to change the hotel. And, like, now it's attached to a mall. Like, you have to ask the players then, hey, be focused. Like, don't go there and, go walk around the mall for 3 hours and have your legs be tired. So I think having a really good group, like our strength coach, Corey, I think they do a good job of just making sure there's no distractions. If I had to say one thing, it's probably no distractions. But I love going on the road. I think I said that to you guys before, though. I love the feeling of just being in the hotel with the guys for 24 hours, kind of like sequestered in. Now, we travel so well that, like, it feels like you're at the Cornhusker Marriott when you're away because there's so many Husker fans there, which is really cool.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry. You're a Ryder Cup guy, you're a golf guy. Did you hear about the Ryder Cup conversation about their captain changing the stuff in the hotel and all that?
I did not.
To help the golf. I was curious if you.
Now that you said that, I would go back and watch it, but I didn't see that.
So, like, do you feel like the travel helps the player experience? And, like, if you travel well, you're actually going to actually perform a little
100%. I believe with all my heart that champions behave like champions before they're champions. They have a winning standard of performance. Bill Walsh. It's how you do everything. It's why for the first year that I'm here, everyone's like, what is wrong with him? Because I'm screaming about a box in the hallway, about this. But, like, I think all, like the food that you guys have when you guys come into I think all of it really matters. And when everyone buys into that, like, you know, I think it goes a long way. Like, we're all just trying to win a championship. And so how do you win a championship? The championship effort and everything that we do. But when you travel, if there's no, you know, it takes a toll on you physically, right? Like the hydration. So, like, you know, even like the little thing, Mitch is going to give them fireflies to put on their legs so that their blood's moving in their legs as they travel. Like, it's just all these things are real. And so just trying to maximize that.
Obviously, on a windy day like that, physics, it affects the game from a physics standpoint, but how much is the mental effect in a game like that? And how did, say, at the end of the third quarter, that drive, was that somehow frustration turning to anger, then resolve when they suddenly forget about the wind a little bit and move it down the field that fast?
Yeah, I think my message, at least about that drive, was with the guys, was like showing them all the other plays were like, hey, the guy's wide open. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if everyone does their job, the guys can be open, we'll make the play. And so it wasn't like all of a sudden, we finally got someone open. We had guys open on other plays. It's just, I forgot to block this guy, or I missed it. I think sometimes the wind can be in your head a little bit, though that's certainly not true when it comes to the punt. Like, I mean, I teased Archie in the team meeting, like, they don't have a wind like that in Australia, do they? He said, no, sir. Like, you know, because that ball was getting hung up. And the last one, you notice he adjusted and we kicked a low liner to the right. Because the wind was like down at times. I'd be like, oh, it's not that much. And all of a sudden it would gust back up. And so there was some challenges to that. So I think some of that was probably in our head. I think anytime you get into a game and things aren't going well, you have a tendency to press. And anytime you press, things don't go well. And it's just why I just keep saying, stop, don't listen to anything else. Just play the next play. And eventually, if you believe that, something good will happen. And then, you know, that happened, right? So it's funny, we were trying to get the ball to the fourth quarter. Like, on that drive, it's like, hey, let's just get the ball to the fourth quarter. You know, Eck didn't want to kick a field goal into the wind. He's like, hey, let's go. Well, think of what happened. We score a touchdown, and then we kick the ball into the wind, which we didn't want to do because it means they're going to have good field position, and they fumble it because it was hard to deal with, right? So, yeah, so I think it probably in our head some, but it certainly had an effect on the overall game. And, you know, my whole thing with the guys is just trying to keep them neutral, just trying to keep them focused on each play each play. I understand that that's never going to truly happen. It doesn't happen for me, but it's just what you're trying to do. So I did like Dylan, though. I think when Dylan has a little bit of an edge, he's still a very young player. When he has edge and he's got a little bit of rage in his eyes, he's pretty fun to be around. You had something before, didn't you?
Oh, no, I just wondering if it was easy to get those lights on.
Yes. Yes, we have elite facilities people. Sierra calls me, I call Susan and Wish and Thomas, and the lights are on within probably 20 or 30 minutes. I can't do it on my phone. I can't even. I mean, I get a message every night that says your daughters have put in the screen time password to get more screen time. I don't even know how to stop that. Like, I have to call Martin. Martin literally comes over to our house, and has to make things work. Martin's our IT guy. He's amazing. So.
Yeah, real quick, you're close with Coach Loxley. Is it fun to play friends, or do you not like the situations where?
Yeah, I was I don't know, maybe 14, 15 years old, and Coach Loxley and my cousin Craig were teammates at Towson with Rob Ambrose, who was the head coach at Towson for a long time, and they were in my cousin's wedding. So I was 14 years old trying to get Coach Loxley to give me a beer at the wedding. He did not, and I did not. So, but no, I've known Coach Loxley for a long time. I have a lot of respect for him. But I know he'd rip my heart out if he could. So I respect that about him. And, I love coaches. I love coaching. I know how hard it is. I know how hard coaching is on our families and all those things. I also know the positive things about it. So the amazing things about it. Like, my dad's a high school coach and teacher. I just love coaches of all ilks, of all sports, of all everything. So, but yeah, I just want to win though. Thanks.
Thank you.